goes into the bathroom and gets a tampon or a pad that's been given from the job. That is DEI. That is literally, yes.
What the? He just embarrassed the whole black community with that statement. What is up, YouTube? It is me, Quadeja Rivers, aka Discovering Q, and I'm back with a brand new video for y'all guys. How are y'all doing today? Y'all doing good? So if you tune into this video, you're gonna watch another reaction video of me watching the American Comeback Tour from Charlie Kirk. And in this video, we are going to be looking at this, I guess, this black liberal who is so-called saying that tampons is a form of DEI. I personally went to this tour, so I got to see this in person, front row seat, and it was so exciting. So it's going to be good to react to this. I'm not going to react to the whole video, guys, just part of the video for today, but let's tune in. Let's just hop right into it. Please remember to subscribe, like this video if you want to see more content like this, and let's get started, guys. Let's hop into it.
Simple question, Simple Black Theory. What do you think about blind hiring? Are you for blind hiring?
No.
No. So why not? Because blind hiring, for those you don't know, is based on merit, where you don't
it's
look.
not.
So what's blind hiring?
Blind hiring would be that you do not put the race actually when you submit for, you don't even see the person when you interview them for a job.
No. That's one part of blind hiring. There's multiple ways to do blind hiring. But at the end of the day, blind hiring is exactly not knowing the person's race, age, or gender. That's based on merit. Like you said, you want merit, correct?
Well, hold on. Those things can factor into merit as well. For example, if I'm trying to hire for an Amazon warehouse worker, and all of a sudden I find out that they're at 69 with 1 year left from retirement and the age is not disclosed, wouldn't I prefer to have a 24-year-old man than a 69-year-old woman who's overweight?
You're moving the goalposts. Let's bring it back here.
No,
the whole point was about blind hiring,
No,
right?
you said race, sex, and age is not incorporated.
Correct.
I think you should have a full picture of who the human being is when you hire them.
So you care about diversity?
No, actually I don't.
Why? Because that's basically merit. You're focusing solely on merit. You said you want meritocracy.
Just to be clear, if diversity happens naturally through meritocracy, great. If all of a sudden we have
DEI.
No, it's not. DEI is by force.
So let me
DEI,
no.
Go ahead. I gotta interject. DEI is that we are going to forcibly make an institution more colorful. We're going to forcibly make an institution more black.
Can we just hire people who can do the job? Like, why is my community in general is so blinded by this? Like, it's going to make sense for there not going to be a lot of people of color to be in a job in positions, because we are the minority. It's just it. Like, we represent, I think, only 13% of the world's population. So obviously you're not going to see a lot of people that look like you on the job force. And the whole thing about blind hiring, as any employer, you would want someone who can definitely do the job, who has the experience. But I think it also depends on the type of criteria that you're looking for. Like, he brought up the whole point about age. Age, I think it does factor, especially within a blue collar workforce like construction. You definitely want someone who's can lift over 40 pounds, someone who is a very hard worker, someone who doesn't have any mobility issues. As in, someone who is 69, you know for a fact age is going to factor in that kind of work field. DEI is really putting a facade, or it's limiting to us of how successful we can be as a growing community within the black community, if that makes any sense. And he is so washed over and so consumed by the woke mentality that he doesn't even hear himself.
So we can agree that Executive Order 11246 is what basically brought in DEI, correct?
I think that might be it. Is that the affirmative action one? I don't know.
No, it's not the affirmative action. It's for DEI. So within that executive order, where does it say that they're solely focused on making people get into jobs? For instance, like United Airlines, right? you mentioned that, well, let's pause that. I'm gonna get to here. So, for an example of DEI is basically your daughter, right? She decides to get a job, right? And unfortunately, at that time of the month, she goes into the bathroom. Calm down, calm down, calm down. She goes into the bathroom. Stop. She's going into the bathroom.
You're losing the audience.
I don't care. I'm talking to you. So she goes into the bathroom, right? And she goes into the bathroom and gets a tampon or a pad that's been given from the job. That is DEI. That is literally, yes.
What the?
Yeah. You don't know.
And
You don't
this
know.
is
You
the
don't know. That's
embarrassing-
right. So if you don't know DEI,
And he just embarrassed the whole community. He just embarrassed the whole black community with that statement. Newsflash, tampons is not a form of DEI. I don't know what point he's trying to bring from here, but he really is embarrassing me right now. So I think I remember hearing this and I was just like, so like, what the heck is he talking about? What point are you trying to make here? But even Charlie, you can look at Charlie's face and he's just like, what is this guy talking about? This is new. DEI is really looking down on our community, you know, and I'm just like, dang, like now, it makes me question even the positions that I earned, the positions that I think I earned based on merit. DEI itself has made me question those positions. And I'm like, dang, like, did I really get this position because of what I bring to the table? Or was they just hiring me because of what I look like and because I'm a woman? Because apparently, you know, being a black woman is the best thing. Literally, everyone's like, support black women, but you know what I mean? But anyway, let's continue to watch this.
is it DEI? How the hell is it that DEI is not making merit?
First of all, Google has not had this hiring committee around since its inception.
They have. No, not since its inception, but they had it for a while. And the people in the committee are people who's been there for a while. Which is very diverse.
Secondly, you have not answered this fundamental question,
Go ahead.
which is, can you tell me when an organization gets forcibly more diverse, it gets better?
Google.
Again, I just proved to you, Google is
Google.
Okay.
I just gave you Google.
Again.
They use DEI. Not only are they one of the best companies.
The boy's pressed.
I mean, again, it's just, they're fine. I'm not going to like totally kind of crap on Google, but like more importantly and more broadly, I do think you have to answer the question.
So
Why does skin color matter at all in hiring? Answer that question.
That's what I'm saying.
Why does skin color matter?
So, if we look at basketball, because you love talking about that, right? Can we both agree that at one point there was no black athletes, and then
You
what
get him off the
happens?
mic.
They
We got
diversified.
rid of forced segregation, which is a form of DEI,
So that diversified the basketball,
because
right?
it was based on merit.
Was it diversified?
Yes, but not by
Thank
force.
you
No, hold on a second.
very much.
Hold on, but if your argument is that if you want to make things more merit-based, then let's do it.
It is more
No,
merit-based.
hold on a
They
second.
made it diversified. They diversified basketball, bringing black people who are good in it.
Nothing you're
Making it
saying.
diverse.
Nothing you're saying is making any sense.
Okay.
Because what they
I'm
did,
confused.
the NBA went to pure merit, pure excellence. Are you good at this? That's all they cared about.
Mhm.
In
They
the
allowed black people in, right?
Exactly, because prior,
Okay, then.
hold on, because you know what they had prior was a form of racial stereotyping, and you want more racial stereotyping. Your worldview is indecipherable from the KKK.
So enough-
what you want is indecipherable because you
He's-
are race
he's
obsessed.
right.
I am not race obsessed.
So you are,
talk
though.
about the race.
You
You talk
are,
about
though.
race more than the Grand Wizard of
Right.
the KKK.
Right.
Because
I'm
you.
the Grand Wizard of the KKK.
The AI
Yes,
expert
dude,
provided
you are.
across our app.
You are the
The
Grand
app
Wizard
significantly
of the
improved the site's
KKK
conversion.
because you're over here. It's like, it's black supremacy. That's exactly what DEI is black supremacy. Like, let's be real about this. I remember one time there was a period, I had this close friend of mine. I don't know where she's at right now, but I had blocked her. But I would literally get so criticized by her because apparently everything I did just seemed very whitewash, whatever that means. And she literally told me to my face that I wasn't in tune with my culture. What does being in tune with my culture mean? You know, so that says a lot. That says a lot about the black community. Is You know, our black community is failing you. The black culture is failing us. Here's the thing about stereotypes. People criticize stereotypes, but the things about stereotypes is part of it is true. Like, it's true. The music industry is dominated by people of color. Let's just be honest. I'm pretty sure people can name a couple of black rappers, and most of the lyrics is just, it's not giving, it's not helping. It's talking about sex, drugs. It's really dehumanizing to women too, because we're always talking about our bodies, and it's just hypersexualizing the society and making it even harder for us, even as Christians, to follow the Lord. You know what I mean? So we have these stereotypes that is being pushed on us, but it's true. It's true. We need to change it. We need to change the black culture. And change starts with informing. It starts with educating ourselves about what's actually going on, and actually using critical thinking when it comes to DEI. I know DEI might have us, you know, you might sit back and think, oh, this is actually really good for us, but DEI is basically saying in order for the black community to be successful, we have to diminish anyone who doesn't look like us in order for us to be successful, and that's not success. Success doesn't lies in, you know, bashing someone else's character just purely because of what they look like. And I think you just so happen to be successful if you work hard for it. That's the thing that we're missing, especially in the black culture, is hard work. And there's plenty of black successful entrepreneurs, inventors, you know, singers who's not promoting sex all the time and drugs and everything, especially within the conservative realm. There's a lot of black successful people that are not getting the praise because it's being overlooked by this demonic culture. That's just personally how I feel. So DEI, yes, I'm gonna be honest, is basically a cult-like mentality. DEI initiatives that's personally how I feel. Y'all can say otherwise in the comments, but I don't see it as being effective. And I used to think it was so effective. Tell me. But DEI has these assumptions about people who don't look black, about people who are white. Basically, it's really demonizing people who are white.
Because you're around talking about race all the time. I'm talking about character. Which of
You
us?
talk about race all the time. You literally said DEI is based on race, but it's not. It's
I'm
DIA
explaining.
with accessibility.
Man, you're getting really upset. You should take a pause.
For instance, right? I've been trying to say this. DI, one part of DI is literally giving women tampons or pads at work. Oh, yeah, you're laughing because you don't know that.
Giving women tampons is a form of DEI.
Yes, it is. You know why? Let me explain. Yeah, no, I got you. I'm about to explain to you guys. So basically what happens is, the reason why we have DEI is the fact that in a job location, right, they want to hire more people diverse. So what these initiatives, these goals, these aspirations that they're doing is trying to bring more people in. For instance, like if what's that store? Trader Joe's, right? They let people sit down while they they bring stuff in. They help disability. That's DI. That helps disabled people in a job at Trader Joe's. But what you're telling me is that we're not allowed to tell people that for like onboarding in itself is also DEI. When they explain to you sexual harassment, when they do all these things, when they make it more a safer place, that is DEI. And what you're saying is that the workplace shouldn't be safe. What you're saying is that more companies should have discrimination lawsuits.
Let's get back to
discrimination lawsuits.
DEI is racial quotas. End of story.
Give me one racial
United
Give me one.
Airlines.
I Googled that.
So
go ahead.
Oh,
I Googled it.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So
go ahead, continue.
What did United Airlines announce? Because you know what I said about black pilots. What did they announce when it came to pilots? And why should skin color matter when you board an airplane?
So just remind everybody, it's Charlie Kirk's idea.
Skin color. Ooh, let me explain. Skin color do not matter when you board a plane. Look, I've been taking trips back and forth. Look, if you can fly this plane and make sure I land safely, that's all that matters. I don't care what you look like.
So Charlie Kirk basically.
Ooh, that's very. That's very misogynist. That's not very DEI of you.
All right, let me finish cooking. So, right?
You're not cooking, bro. You're not frying anything. The vegetables are still cold. You're not making any points. You're rumbling about the same thing. And to make matters worse, you're saying that tampons are a form of DEI. Like, dude, you're not cooking. You're not serving. No, it's been sitting in the fridge for a long time.
So, can I finish? So, Charlie Kirk said that they're basically hiring women of color to make 40 or 50%, right? But when you actually look into it, what happens is
Women and people of color.
right, women and people of color. What happens is they're creating a program that's allowing women to train to become pilots. If you actually look at the requirements for these programs, it's nothing different than any other program that trains pilots. But you told people that they're just hiring women when that's not true.
First
They
of all,
go
I
to-
never said that. Second,
Yes, you did. I did a video on it, guy.
yes, I know what I said. Secondly, when you hire based on race and not on excellence, you end up compromising the standards
do
of
you mean?
excellence.
They're not hiring based
Allow
on
me
race,
to
though.
finish without interrupting.
All right, go ahead,
When you
Locke.
hire based on race and not on excellence, you end up compromising excellence to be able to pursue race. We know this with Harvard, University of California. We know this with major companies. We know this with the government. Exactly. DEI, that is affirmative action is DEI philosophy
It's been
in
struck down
practice.
already. You're bringing old that's been
Allow
struck
me
down.
to finish
That's
my
crazy.
statement.
Go
They
ahead.
are actively defying Supreme Court decision, or they are contorting their policies to try to fit their own DEI agenda. But let me ask you a question. If you were to board a United
I ain't
Airlines,
get the finish. Go ahead.
if you were to board a flight with United Airlines, would you rather have a pilot that is qualified or one that is diverse?
And I'm gonna end it on that note, y'all guys, because he just ate that. Charlie, my boy Charlie, he just ate that. Simplify it, gave it back to him, served it on a plate of how dumb he sounds. Guys, I'm just gonna end it there on that note. I just wanted to make a short video for you guys. Let me end this off with a biblical verse. I'm gonna read from this verse because I was reading this in the scripture in my nightly devotional last night, and it reads it's 2 Corinthians 3:18, and it says, "And we all with unveiled face behold the glory of the Lord, and are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. For this comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit." And that's basically saying we ought to be more like God. We ought to follow and be obedient to the change that God is bestowing upon us whenever we are, reading the word, whenever we're praying, whenever we're meeting people of the faith. In order for us to be changed and be in this new creation that he's giving to us when we read his words, we have to be able to meditate on his words. We have to be willing to sacrifice our old ways and be transformed. That's how true transformation happens, when you start reading the word. And it takes a conversation with the Lord. And two, it's repetitiveness in the Lord and being able to follow him through prayer. Guys, I don't know if what I said made any sense, but I'm trying to wrap things up because my sister has to go to work in a little bit and I have to give her a ride. But anyway, if you like this video, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel because a lot of y'all are watching, y'all not subscribing. Y'all watching, y'all not subscribing. And y'all see how low my subscriber count is. Help a sister out. Support Black women. Literally. Anyway, guys, thank you again. This is Cordeja, aka Discovering Q, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye, guys.